Alright, so the first map is going to be on match point, and I will start it up right now. Got my replay progress bar covered.
Yep,
It's time.
got the right scene, all those technical difficulties. Oh, you've got the little Pepe replay. That's nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to. It's not covering it. That's kind of weird.
Make sure it's higher in the list.
It is. Let's see, where is it? Well, I will figure that out in just a second. Actually, I'll just kill the replay progress bar. There we go.
Yep, we don't need it.
Alright. In the top corner here, as the orange Zerg, 4-team supply block, it's Art of Turtle from eMg.
And down on the bottom left, we have the red Protoss Seiche for Team Beast. So I've played a little bit with Art of Turtle and seen him play. So I kind of know where he's at. He's definitely towards the higher end of the A team level. I haven't seen Seiche. So have you practiced with him at all?
No, I haven't played a ton with him. He's an 8-teamer, so a little bit scared of him. But
well, he's supposed to be your coach. He should be giving you tips.
yeah, it's true. I think I played with Crane a little bit. He's a Protoss teamer, but my first week was not PvP, so I did not play a ton with him. But probably will
Gotcha.
over the course of the CPL. I'm sure we'll get some games.
Yeah, and the CPL is a great opportunity for people to figure out exactly where they stand on their team and other teams. So we're hoping to have another CPL start after Season 2 ends. And it will be much easier at that point to actually place people appropriately because, this first time you got a lot of people don't have an accurate ladder rank, people coming in rusty. Like, it's really hard to figure out what level people are.
Yeah, I think overall, though, the first week casted seemed to be skill levels to be pretty on par with each other. No sort of mega upsets there.
Yeah, it's a tough, like, having only two groups means that the guy who's never played Brew War before is matched versus the guy who's basically at 1500. So that's a tough spot, and also like the 1600 can go up against the 1900, and that's a really tough match as well. But generally, those are the two extremes, and most matches aren't going to fall in there. So I have seen a bunch of close matches, which I'm really happy about. And at these levels, even if you are that 1600 versus a 1900, if you prepare correctly and you execute well, you can absolutely win a game or two. It's not like this insurmountable skill difference.
Yeah, definitely. So for this game, as far as openers, we see Seiche did go for a 12-13 Nexus, before the Nexus, so a safe, economical opening on match point. Match point is a little bit of a smaller map, so you gotta be worried. Got a probe in the base though to see if 6 lanes popped, so nice opening from Seiche, and it looks like AOT's gonna be getting up to 3 hatches pretty fast. Seiche is not scouted that 3rd hatch, but most likely will with that probe before it dies, hopefully.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job just keeping the probe active. Not getting a ton of hits. Hasn't lost any of the health actually, just shield damage, so that's good. The bottom right base being taken as the 3rd is a little far, but on this map, you can absolutely play this style since that gives you your 3rd gas super quick. But it does mean that Seiche might have an opportunity to do a little bit of an attack. Zerg might be spread a little bit too thin to defend against a well-timed push.
The probe of Seiche was going up there, but it got forced back by the Ling. Now he did see that there was no 3rd there, so he might know that something's up. He's going to check the base up here, which is smart. Some Zergs will take that, but it is not there, and he should be clued into it pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, 2-hatch play is possible, especially when you're in a match that counts. You're not. This isn't a practice game anymore, so you can't just assume your opponent's playing standard. Like, they're going to just try to win. And so some people, that means some funky stuff that you've never seen before. I think in general, Art of Turtle is a fairly standard player, so I would have been surprised to see that. But as far as Seiche knows, he probably doesn't know if this is 2-hatch or 3-hatch at the moment. You can kind of assume 3-hatch, but you really got to be aggressive with the scout. He's got the Stargate coming now. It seems maybe a little bit late since the layer is already finished. for Art of Turtle. But once that Corsair pops, he really needs to send it around ASAP. Oh, and he is going to see the base now, so that's good.
Yeah, it's a good intel for him. Yeah, you're right. The Stargate was late. I think really optimal 12-13 is around maybe 10 seconds, 10-15 seconds before that. But shouldn't be too much of a problem. Just means that he probably won't get in any sort of Overlord kills. And yeah, shaping up to be pretty normal for Seiche. He's not producing a ton of Zealots, which is a little bit interesting. It's already 5 minutes. He only has 2 Zealots out, and he's not producing any.
Yeah, that is, that's going to cut into that timing attack. He's got the +1 attack on the Forge started, so it leads me to believe that he is going to be going for something like that. But his Zealot count's going to be 1 or 2 less just as a result of this cut. I'm not sure if it was because he was supply blocked, but there's definitely some inefficiencies in this build that he could work out, and it would be much more impactful.
He's got +1 air as well, so he's committing to at least some Sair play, which is nice, especially if the Zerg doesn't see it coming, and expects maybe only 3 Sairs, but then you pop out with 6 with +1 air, 6 or 7. +1 air can be really nice timing if there's not a ton of Scourge. The lair just finished now, and the Sair making its way across, so shouldn't get too many Overlord kills.
Yeah, so the Spire was well timed with a little bit of a later Stargate means that this Corsair probably won't get anything done. And he has to be really careful not to lose it, especially if he's investing in that +1 air attack. If you lose your first Corsair, and this is actually really risky, just attacking this Overlord here. I mean, he hasn't really gotten a good scout on the timings. I know his probe went back into the main at one point, but he doesn't know exactly when Scourge are coming. All of those eggs could have been Scourge, and then the Corsair's dead. So this is a risky play. It's going to pay off here because Art of Turtle actually morphed Scourge a little late and only in his main. So the Corsair is going to be able to get that kill and get out. But that sort of thing, if you're playing someone who's a little more conscious that they're placing a Scourge in 2 bases, it can definitely backfire. And actually, Turtle's trying to go for the interception, but just barely misses the Corsair.
Just going to park those Scourge, see all the attack coming out. Storm is just started, and it looks like the 7:30 timing attack for the Zealots, which was a little delayed a little bit because of the +1, is not going to fully hit. Well, there's like about 7 Zealots, +1, and speed might be a little bit late. So it's a kind of a late Zealot attack, but he's prioritizing Sair production. He's supply blocked for a little bit, which is unfortunate right now.
Yeah, so it's a late Zealot attack, but I gotta worry a little bit about Turtle. He has not really started that Hydra production. In fact, he's a little supply blocked. He actually just made 3 Overlords. So, this attack's gonna come, and even though it's a little late, we're about 8 minutes, and he's just leaving the base now, actually splitting his Zealots. I'm not sure if that's intentional. Art of Turtle's got plenty of drones, but he's got no fighting units. So if Seiche had a more clean build, these Zealots would just come and absolutely kill a base. I like the Zergling run by, maybe even force the Zealots to come back. But as it is, they are just going to persist in this attack on the 3rd, and there's now 1 Hydra and 1 Sunken.
Yeah, decent actually concave with the drones, getting maximal range on the Zealots. But even then, there's still quite a few Zealots left. He's droned up really heavily, very few Hydras out, and they got gunned down quite quickly. Although the Sunken is in a pretty good spot, has got some good shots off, and this is going okay for Art of Turtle, but it looks like the Zealot's getting on top of the Sunken now, and now he's going to start to lose some drones. Although the Hydra stream coming in should mop this up. Yeah,
he managed to defend a really good drone drill. Protecting that Sunken for as long as he did is the only reason the space is still alive. Meanwhile, the Lings that were in Seiche's base actually took down the Templar Archive, so that's enormous. Yeah, just spreading the attention a little bit thin. So good on Art of Turtle to see that opportunity, and that's gonna make Seiche really vulnerable here. Storm, there's no way the Storm research is finished based on the timing of that Templar Archive.
Yeah, that's enormous. There's only 3 Lings. I'm kind of surprised. There were some Zealots up the main, but I guess it didn't quite pan out. No, there's only 2 cannons at the front, and now Art of Turtle is going to be just streaming Hydras in. He's got Lurker on the way, aspect on the way as well, and this is a little bit scary. He's going to have to throw down some cannons if he wants to survive this.
Yeah, so this is a moment where I would kind of question decision making a little bit. Like if you can snipe that Templar archives, like he did, I would say just go for that Hydra pressure because the only thing that Protoss can do to survive that is Storm, and you know he doesn't have it. Um, so he actually droned pretty hard to replace the damage he took at the third, which is fine. You know, you play a standard game, you play macro style, but you're really diminishing the advantage you got from that Templar archive snipe.
Oh, actually,
Oh,
Storm
wait,
did
he
finish.
has it.
Oh, that was tight.
Wow. So, okay, I take it back. Seiche actually managed to start Storm much earlier than I thought. So that's good on him. He was actually paying real close attention to that building getting finished. In which case, Arturtle made the right call. So uh, we have this sort of, oh, that's the second Storm on whole position Hydras killed a whole bunch of them.
And now we've got Seiche's got 6+1 stairs snooping in. And there's quite a few overlords that are actually defended around the map. So he's going to be picking off quite a few of those, which is just another thing that Art of Turtle has to worry about. He's placing his 4th down now, and lurkers are on the way. So he's in a decent position here. He just needs to try to protect these overlords.
Yeah, I think both players are actually in a good spot. You know, Seiche managed to do some damage with his +1 attack, and Art of Turtle managed to recoup that damage pretty well. We have good observer timing out from Seiche, and we have good lurker timing. So in general, both players are doing quite well with their builds and game plan. Morphing these lurkers in a pretty aggressive position. This is a little risky because Storm does kill lurker eggs pretty quickly, and that's a large investment to lose to Storm. Looks like it will get scouted out here.
He's going to probably have to cancel these, or losing a few already. Storm.
Yeah, so actually good job targeting the hurt lurker eggs with units and then actually getting a couple storms on the full health lurker eggs. Only 2 lurkers make it out of there. So that's like 600 gas that's just completely wasted. And at this point in the game, that's really rough. You're actually going for a super aggressive attack, but this is not nearly enough units to actually win versus this. And some really good storms from Seiche means that he's probably going to be able to secure this third.
Yeah, the Hydra's diving forward, and most of the storms are out of position, so decent. He actually dodged a few with the storms, but there's just really not enough Hydras here, and he's going to make out with the few he has. Meanwhile, the Sares are still coming in and taking out a ton of overlords.
I think we move the game speed to faster at some point.
Faster?
Yeah, I think we want to pump it up one notch.
Oh, it is. I can't change it, though.
You should be able to. There's a hotkey for it. What is that? I have no idea what it is because I never hit it.
Did they play it? I mean, this is a replay, though. Did they play it?
No, you can play the replay on whatever speed you want. I think you may have hit the hotkey accidentally. No worries, we'll figure it out. Meanwhile, we do have Art of Turtle trying to delay this third as long as possible, getting some Templar snipes, which is nice. Kind of a really soft contain with 3 lurkers up here on the high ground. But, you know, if Seiche just sends that observer up there, he's going to notice that that's not really a strong position. But taking a long time to place that Nexus down. That's almost a 13-minute third for Protoss. That's not really good considering he was in a fairly even situation.
Yeah, and the lurker hold on this ramp is actually quite strong. There are a ton of storms here, but if he does a good job sniping the observers, this could be a decent hold for Art of Turtle when this is a situation where Seiche really can't afford to have his third denied. Although he probably has enough storms to carry him here.
Yeah, actually one really good observer snipe there. So, you know, this isn't the biggest deal because Seiche doesn't need to go that direction. He does need to be cautious that, you know, this could turn into an attack with the units right outside his front door. But there's no reason that he has to push up that ramp, so he's content to just sit back here and secure this this third Nexus. Meanwhile, Art of Turtle is actually sending a flood of units down the small ramp to actually sandwich this group, but he's really only engaging, you know, with half his army at one time. You know, unless he's bringing those lurkers into the fight, this is not necessarily a good position for Zerg.
Dive forward with the Hydras, and Seiche got a nice storm off, and that Ling aggression got a few High Templars, but really not worth it. And Art of Turtle's got to be careful here that he doesn't lose those lurkers by a good push out. They're pretty vulnerable right now once there's enough observers.
Yeah, I like the idea to try to sandwich the Protoss like that, but the problem is it's not really that open of a position. Like even when you get up that small ramp, you still have a choke to go through. You still have the large ramp that the lurkers are parked under, so you can't flank that effectively. And actually, it looks like Art of Turtle did not notice these zealots coming down here. There's still only one sunken. There's units nearby, but they could potentially kill a lot of drones.
Yeah, good zealot run by here. Meanwhile, Art of Turtle did lose quite a few lurkers and hydras there, only for a couple Templars. Wasn't worth it at all. And a good SimCity again with the drones, drilling with the drones really effectively. This sunken just going down now, and meanwhile there's a flood of lings coming in. He's going to lose a few drones here, but it's going to mop the zealots up with honestly minimal damage.
Yeah, that's just to be a little more active on the minimap. I'm pretty sure that there was, based on the position of the Overlords currently, I'm pretty sure that those zealots moved past Art of Turtle's vision, and he just missed it. So took a little bit of unnecessary damage from that. But meanwhile, Seiche has broken the soft contain. He still is not really mining from that third base. So he's been a 2-base Protoss versus a 4-base Zerg for quite a while here. And really, the only reason he's ahead in supply is because he's just taken 2 pretty good fights in terms of breaking through those lurkers and the initial push that Art of Turtle tried. So I gotta say, I like Turtle's expansion timings. He's going for that 5th base now. He's got pretty solid tech timings as well. His Defiler Mound is up. So he's generally ahead in all of those metrics, but currently his army size is kind of lacking because of the failed aggression. So he's got to be really careful of his timing that's coming right now.
Yeah, it looks like the armies are pushing out here. Art of Turtle move commanding in for a little bit there. He's going to take a weird engagement. He's going to get sandwiched. The stormers are going to be so good for Seiche, and good storm on those hydras. And this is really not looking good for Art of Turtle here. This is a 170 supply army of Protoss just going to roll in here, and not much he can do.
Yeah, and actually he has no more lurkers. The lurkers were morphed, up towards the front for the contain. And right now he's got none for this defense. So that means that this army is going to be incredibly effective. He's barely getting through the zealots. And there's so many storms banked up from these High Templar that it's going to be very difficult for Turtle to survive here. Now, this is his rally as well. So once Seiche takes control of this area, it's likely there's just going to be floods of units coming in inefficiently. And unless Art of Turtle's really on top of his re-rally, that's very common. So this is a difficult situation to come back from here.
Yeah, also, it looks like Beast telling us that Seiche is 1 syllable. I don't know how that works.
Seiche.
Seiche?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Seiche.
Seiche?
I'm going to say Seiche from now on. We'll try.
That sounds odd, but anyways, the Dragoons stepping up here and sieging that third. They're going to take it down. Lings flooding in, but there's enough zealots here and storms to clean this up. Nice stutter stepping with the goons, cleaning up this remaining rally. And the 5th, by the way, also did go down by a force of Seiche, and it's going to lock down this 3rd.
Yeah, he did a great job making that multi-pronged attack. He had a good idea of what he needed in the main fight and just sent a group of units to shut down that hatch. So, really good game sense out from him. And I'd say both players played really well, but the few failed attacks that Turtle made and then just not having lurkers to defend while he was teching and expoing, it means that this 2-0, which is now turned into a 3-0 almost max push, is almost unstoppable. And so that's exactly what we're seeing. He's just steamrolling over everything that he's got.
Yeah, it looks like there was a window of time where Art of Turtle might have been able to punish a little bit. Well, he never got the storm. I'm still thinking that he denied the storm, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, I honestly was really surprised because that Ling run by went at the same time that the Zealots had pushed out. So that means Storm was basically finished shortly after the Zealot push out, which is much quicker than normal. I guess the Zealot push out was a little delayed from normal, so it's possible the Templar Archives timing was correct. And there is the first GG. That's 1-0 for Seiche.
Well played. Looks like Beast
Seiche.
Seiche, like it's Seiche.
Seiche. I'm
Seiche?
gonna say
Seiche?
Seiche.
Seiche. Okay, that's a little bit hard for me to say, but I'll try.
Yeah, that was strong work.
And Art of Turtle did some really good, a really good play as well. The drone drill at the third was pretty amazing, taking very few drone kills there. When I think, you know, if you were not on top of your drone micro there, you would have lost several drones, maybe even the base at that point.
Yeah, I mean that was key. There were something like 8+1 speed lots there, and they were held off by one sunken for so long, until the units could actually come down from the top base. And that's the kind of attack you have to be careful of on match point. When you go for that far third, you have to be very worried that that attack's going to come before you're prepared, and that's exactly what happened. But he got through it without too much damage because of that drill. I'm getting a little bit of feedback saying that your mic is a little low compared to mine still. And
Oh, really? Okay.
that's all with respect to the game sounds.
Game sounds.
So
Okay, I moved my mic a little bit closer.
cool. And then maybe turn the game down a little bit or
Yeah.
up. I don't know. Gorgo too low and I'm too loud.
Okay. I can.
We'll find the magic formula.
Okay, I just turned it down, so they should be about equal. Okay, yeah, Seiche. Try that. So game two is
Cool.
gonna be on Circuit Breakers. Circuit Breaker, right?
You can use either name. I've seen it both ways. Some of them was lost in translation.
All right, in the bottom corner, the yellow Zerg down game for Team Supply Block. It's Art of Turtle.
And in the top right corner of Circuit Breaker, we have Seiche, the blue Protoss for Team Beast. So both players playing standard games, game one, which is great to see. I highly encourage standard play in CPL. But you do have to mix it up. StarCraft is a game where you can't just assume the builds. You have to scout for things and have to look for those curveballs. So I'm very interested to see if either of these players are going to go for that. Seiche sort of has the freedom to do a little bit more funkiness being up a game, but in the PvZ matchup, it's pretty hard to find a good cheese. We do have that forward pylon, so it is going to be some sort of fast expansion. We'll have to see if it's a gate or a forge first.
Yeah, the 12-13 build for that Seiche is doing is really nice. It's really economical, and it does allow you to have that strong army to push out with relatively fast. And if you're not on top of your Hydra production, you don't have a lot of Hydras, and you're not whittling down the Protoss army from early point on, you can push out with a powerhouse army when the Zerg is really not prepared for it, and it can do insanely well, which is, he executed that perfectly, and I'm interested to see if he's going to do that again, and what Art of Turtle will do if he's going to try to make something happen.
Yeah, that's the best part of the series play is that, players get a sense for, how their opponent is playing and has the opportunity to make adjustments in their own game. So what I really want to see this game is Seiche to button up his build a little bit. He was slightly delayed off of what he should have been, and didn't really get that effective Corsair timing or really even the Zealot timing. And I want to see Art of Turtle be prepared a little bit better for a faster timing, and also, not take a bad fight at a timing where it's just going to cause Protoss to snowball in army size.
So we do have the 12-13 again for Seiche. So nice. Like in the course being scouted by Art of Turtle, the probe switching course is going to come back and see everything that's happening here. So, and only 2 Lings have been produced.
Yeah, I guess this is a little risky without the scout. He's actually scouting Turtle last, and if this was a 9 pool, he could be in some serious trouble with such a wide choke. But it is going to pay off for him. Not sure if that's a soul read or just a calculated risk, but he's going to be totally fine with only 2 Lings being made. And it looks like Turtle is going for the close third this time, not going to opt to take a gas base, but going to go for that close mineral third.
Yeah, with a 9 pool, not always, but with a 9 pool, if you got your scouting probe in a good position, then typically you can you are able to throw down that second cannon in time. I mean, I've died to it a couple times, but you usually can make it work. Of course, it's not a factor in this game. It's a little bit tight and it is a little bit scary, but I think that's a risk that Seiche is willing to make to get ahead here without placing down that second cannon.
Totally, and I like the second probe that's being sent out here. He lost the first scouting probe to the first two lings, and that second probe is already down on the south side of the map. Gonna wrap around, see if this is a 3-hatch build. See the tech timings, see what he can see. And actually, there is a Hydra Den going down here, so this is going to be some sort of 3-hatch Hydra play, and this probe has a very high chance to scout it unless some lings are popping soon. I don't see any eggs that could be lings, so I'm pretty sure that Seiche is going to get a full scout and be well prepared for this Hydra bust. Oh, he needs to send that probe in, though.
Yeah, the probe just camping out a little bit, and he's got to be on top of his zealot productions too. Last game he slacked on his zealots quite a few times and didn't get them out super fast.
Yeah, this probe is killing me, and I mean Turtle sees it. He absolutely should block his ramp. The longer you can go without your opponent knowing that the Hydra bust is coming, the more effective it's going to be. So the fact that they're just playing this game of chicken is just killing me. We have 4 Zerglings coming now, but they're not going to be able to stop this probe. He's gone up the ramp. And now that we see the Hydra Den, what is going to be the response? I would expect to see more cannons. As you said, cutting zealots is not the way to go in terms of defending this. So we need to see constant zealot production. We do have a second pylon behind the wall that'll help power the cannons that are coming up. So it looks like at the moment the response is fairly measured. So I do like that he's not just panicking, cutting everything to get cannons up. Keeping the probe alive as well. Gonna see if he can see drones being produced at all, if this is sort of a Hydra fake. But once Hydras are out, that probe is not gonna last too much longer.
Yeah, the cannons, nice number of cannons, 3 cannons up. He should be fine. The probe still poking around, seeing the Hydras being rallied across. And there's only 1 zealot out here, but the cannon's going to finish up in time. Throwing down a 4th one. That is nice. So I think if Seiche plays this right, he should be okay.
So we have a lair as a follow-up here, which is a little unusual. But we'll have to see what kind of damage this can get done, even pre-lair timing. We have both upgrades almost complete. Range is just finishing up now. So once that's complete, this outer wall is going to be taken down by the Hydras that are here. And it doesn't look like Turtle is going all in. We have a 4th hatch and the lair behind. But without the drones to supply this, there's still a significant number of Hydras. So this is kind of a halfway between an all-in cheese and just a fake. It's kind of like a follow-up happening after this, but we're cutting into our economy pretty hard. So Turtle's gonna have to get something done.
Yeah, and the Corsair are going to be coming in and seeing this here. It's a little bit weird. This is just kind of a weird play from Art of Turtle. Haven't seen this very many times. He did get the gate down, but there's 4 cannons up, and the Hydras charging in there will not get anything done. There's 4 zealots up, and +1's going to be done shortly, so honestly, Seiche will be just fine from this.
Yeah, and it looks like he's actually going to be able to snipe 1 Overlord. There's 2 Hydras coming down now, but they're not going to get there in time. So if you already have a herd economy, those Overlord kills hurt so much more as a Zerg player. And we do have a transition into the standard 5 hatches. Lair is complete, and Overlord speed is being started. So it looks like Turtle is trying to transition into a normal game. We do have an investment of, 6 cannons. Managed to snipe the gateway. So it's possible that at the end of this, they'll come out fairly even. It really depends on how much this threw Seiche off. But I would say, generally, if you're going to go for some sort of fake Hydra pressure, you don't want to make this many Hydras. You want to make enough that Protoss is convinced that he needs a bunch of cannons to live, but you want to start droning a lot faster than Turtle ended up doing. So I'm really not sure who's ahead in this situation.
Yeah, Turtle even rallied some drones to the wrong spot. That's hurting every drone he lost, and he's still supply blocked. He was supply blocked for so long there that 1 Overlord kill really threw him off. This is allowing Seiche enough time to get Storm. He has going to have 3 storms available now. This is more than enough, and might just straight up push this army back.
Yep, I feel like Turtle wasn't actually planning to fake it, but once it got scouted with the second probe, maybe he's just kind of winging it, because the transition wasn't that solid, and he already had those hatches rallied. Like, you wouldn't rally if you're expecting to switch into drones. So now he's droned up pretty hard, but it came a little late because he invested heavily into the Hydras and didn't get much damage. So the +1 attack that might come could be pretty dangerous, and especially since Storm is up. If this becomes like a Zealot Templar attack and 1 or 2 Storms lands hard, then Zerg's just going to die. So he's got to be very careful at this moment.
He's got 4 gates up as well, which is a pretty healthy number for Protoss, and he's producing some goons, so looking to maybe push out a little bit on that, get a couple goons out, have enough Storms, enough Zealots, and he's taking his 3rd now, so it's not even 10 minutes. So this is an interesting timing for Seiche. I think he'll be able to take that 3rd. I don't know, it seems a tad early here, but I think he can get away with it.
Yeah, I think this is a great response. I'd be a little worried if I was him, just because you don't know if there was a lurker follow-up. You saw that fast lair with the Hydra Den. So before you have obs, it's very easy for a lurker timing to shut down this 3rd like this. But otherwise, he probably feels like he's ahead, since those Hydras really cut into Zerg's economy, and all he got for it was 1 gate. So I think he's just confident and comfortable to take an expansion this time. Gonna attack as well. There are a couple of lurkers on the field, but they're just hanging out in the middle of the map. They need to be really careful they don't get surrounded here, and there they go. If they go shut down this 3rd, that could be good, but the timing for that is rapidly leaving. Those cannons are about to get up.
Yeah, 1 cannon. Yeah, the lurkers, there's only 2 lurkers there, and this force from Seiche isn't a huge force, but there's so many storms that it might work out. He just has to worry he doesn't get too much collateral damage on there. Although the lurkers get up in time, and they will shut this down.
He needs to target that 2nd cannon. There's only 1 goon here to support, but that is going to be able to kill 1 lurker, and so that just halved his lurker damage in half. But then we have observers coming pretty soon. So the fact that that lurker got killed is pretty big. It doesn't look like he would have killed the expansion anyway. But this is going to be slightly annoying. At the very least, it's going to delay mining here.
Yeah, and the storm will push that back, pounce on that lurker. Honestly, only delayed mining for not that much. Maynard probes over right now, so only push that back a little bit. And Seiche can still go on the offensive here. I think he has enough storms. He has enough army to push out. We'll see what he does if he wants to just bunker up on 3 bases.
He can try to be aggro, especially now that he has obs. He definitely has enough storms, but it is tough to push across those bridges. Although it looks like Turtle is going to be the one who's aggressive here, so this is a little risky. If you get a good lurker field, then certainly Protoss can't cross it. But if you're out in the middle of the map, they can just kind of circumvent your position. It looks like he's going around. Maybe he's going to run up right into the army up this ramp. That is dangerous. I really need to pull this back. He's going to get clumped at the corner and get stormed to death. So why is he going to retreat there?
Yeah, only losing losing a decent amount of lings there, but not the worst. He's actually forced to burrow these lurkers, but there are obs there. So Seiche pulling back as well, wise, just posturing a little bit, but he's not going to allow just Turtle to get a good position with his lurkers, which is nice. Pushing up with lurkers is hard, and will lock down this area, and will allow him also to get a 4th behind this in this top corner. Will be relatively easy if he gets some cannons up as well. So Seiche,
we've got a drop being loaded up, so this is interesting. I'm not sure if I agree with this. This push into the middle into a drop follow-off is kind of strange, because they kind of know where your army is, and they're kind of in a defensive posture to begin with. So now this drop's going to hit, and actually the timing is going to be perfect because Seiche is pushing out into the middle now. But how much damage can it do? He also forced 6 cannons at this natural, which is where it's looking like he's going to drop. Reinforcements coming in, just going to ignore the army. Oh my god, they're all going over the cannons. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, that drop timing was off, to say the least, and a few lurkers burrowed, but he lost actually 2 full overlords in the cannon, just mauling those lurkers that got out. This is a nightmare for Turtle, losing so many overlords here as well. This is insane.
Yeah, that was really rough. I mean, if he had just dropped them outside of the main cannon range, he could have gotten a lot of damage done on this Nexus. But unfortunately, kind of just floated those overlords around a little too much and ended up dropping in the cannons. Um, and this, I think this is kind of more evidence that he wasn't planning this from the start of the game. If you're forcing those cannons from that sort of Hydra fake, then doing a drop at the natural doesn't really make sense. So I think he is just kind of winging it at this point. And Seiche's doing a pretty good job defending. And at this point, it just took so much damage from that failed attack. Seiche is going to be able to do quite a bit with his standing army.
Yeah, Turtle's fourth, just getting up now. He wasn't droning it very much at all during that whole fight. He's really starved for resources, and Seiche is so comfortable now that he's going to be taking a fourth, and he's going to be on base parity with Seiche. And Seiche pushing out here with a pretty sizable army. Although, Art of Turtle, I mean, if he takes some good positions, but once if Seiche gets over this plateau here, then he can just storm and really lock down the third. And I think that might happen.
Yeah, so once again, Art of Turtle is being very aggressive with his lurkers, and then when the attack fails, he has none left for defense. So he's trying to get some lurkers up now, but they're not up in time to prevent Sage from crossing the bridge. And this army is just streaming into the natural. Without the Lurker Ling combo here, it's going to be very hard for Turtle to push this back.
Storms are good, but they're on actually so few Hydras. Doesn't mean much, but he has so many storms banked up here, and there's looks like 4 or 5 lurkers pushing down, but they are just going to get gunned down by the storms. Ooh. Yeah, this is
and that's the standard thing that happens to Zerg players. Like once you've lost a position, you have to push in with lurkers. It's very hard to get them spread out, and one storm becomes so cost effective at that point. So you really just need to prevent them from crossing that bridge in the first place. So it's kind of a similar story. There's certainly different game plans and different executions happened in game 2. But I think Turtle is just being aggressive or having some bad attacks and then dying to the counter push.
Yeah, it felt like he never was really committed to something. He wasn't super driven, to the Hydra bust or one thing, and messed up his execution a little bit. That really hurt him.
Yeah, he was decently even going into that position when he did the drop, but that drop did 0 damage compared to what he invested into it. And at that point, you just have to scramble to get your defenses up, and they just weren't up in time. So a good series. Seiche showing that he's a fairly solid player. I've always thought of Art of Turtle as one of the top tier A-teamers, so Seiche is joining him there. So that's great to see that there's some more high skilled people in the CPL that I'm just not familiar with. But Turtle definitely played well. There were some issues from both players, but that's what the CPL is all about. And hopefully that we'll see some progression in both of them throughout the weeks.
Yeah, a good play and just really clean builds from Seiche. Had to react to different things both times. Did really well.